Hello, welcome to the GenXplainers podcast, the perfect song. And I'd like to welcome our panel, Alan and Rand. Hello.
Hey there.
We're going to be looking at a song today by the band The Buzzcocks. And the song is Ever Fallen in Love, parenthesis, with someone... I'm going to get it right here, sorry. Ever Fallen in Love, parentheses, with someone you shouldn't have, which is one word, shouldn't have. Let's just call it Ever Fallen in Love.
New one from the next album. Ever fallen in love with someone you shouldn't have? 1, 2, 3, 4.
So this song, I guess, could fall into the post-punk, British post-punk area. Would you agree with that?
I would almost call it punk.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty early on.
Yeah.
Like 78, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Now, this song, as far as the history of it, for me, I'm sure I heard it on college radio back in the day. So, I probably heard it on college radio or perhaps a compilation CD of British punk or something. I know they're very punky and punchy. Somehow in my mind, it's not punk somehow, but it kind of is, right? I don't know. It was kind of certainly a very close offshoot and poppy. The way I describe the song is like, and actually, if you listen to it, it feels like a Beatles song was covered by the Ramones, or they worked on it together. Because if you slow this song down halfway, and the instrumentation and the arrangement of it, if George Martin got in there and did it, it could be a Beatles song from the lyrics and the melodies. I don't know. And then with the Ramon sensibility put on top of it, the dee. Anyway, that's just something to think about.
That's a deep analysis there.
I know.
Yeah. You know that someone's going to go do that now.
I know.
Right?
I hope so, because that would be something else.
Yeah.
Don't change the lyrics, Paul. Please, just leave the lyrics as they are. Anyway, let me ask you guys about your history with the song, when you heard it, if you remember, and how you got to know it.
I don't recall exactly the first time I heard this song. It's likely that I heard it through my older brother, because a lot of stuff, he went to college before I did and discovered college radio and came back with a lot of different things. And so I probably heard it that way. I have never really totally gotten into Buzzcocks, which is interesting because they seem like they're kind of right up my alley, that sort of punky poppy sound. That's my history with this song.
Okay. There we go.
Actually, oddly enough, I don't know how this happened in my life, but I actually have not had a lot of history with the Buzzcocks in general in the time of my life when you would have expected it to have happened.
Right.
Youth, college, and the early days after college. Oddly enough, for this song, I think I heard the Fine Young Cannibals cover of it before I heard the actual Buzzcocks version.
Wow.
So that's my history with the song. I have, in fact, heard it now, of course. There's just, for some reason, the Buzzcocks kind of fell into a little gap of I'm like, oh, I think that's someone I'm probably going to like. And then I just never came across them for many, many years.
Yeah. I think in college, speaking of the time when you think you're going to hear it, that's when I heard it and I bought a compilation album. And this was on it and some other.
Well, sure, yeah.
So I had my Buzzcocks kind of little period there. I didn't delve deep into studio album. I didn't go back and buy the releases. I just had this compilation that I sort of, this is the Buzzcocks, okay. And then there's other stuff I was listening to. So, but I always liked them. And again, they're very much of a sound and a time. So maybe I just didn't want to hear that anymore. But Yeah. So
Amazingly, they're still out there playing today,
yeah.
even without Pete Shelley.
Yeah. Now I do.
Disease
Yeah.
gone.
I do
Moral
like.
coil.
I do like Pete Shelley's vocal delivery. It's kind of an interesting one. It's kind of it's. I don't know how to describe
that was a
it
good
really.
imitation.
Yeah, Pete Shelley. He later went on to a solo career where he did more electronic stuff, and the song "Homo Sapien" was his first sort of hit.
I remember that one.
Homo superior in my interior, but from the skin I'm Homo sapien too, and you're Homo sapien too, and I'm Homo sapien like you, and we're Homo sapien too. And I just hope and pray that the day of our love is at hand.
Still the same vocal delivery, but just a different package. I think it's because like punk songs, it's very simple, straightforward, musically and lyrically. That guitar, that sort of what do you want to call it? Punchy saw guitar, like that was in there, very punky, typical punky sound. It really, it sort of hits all the right buttons for me, and I every time it comes on, no matter how many times I've heard it, I enjoy listening to it. It's not that long either. It has a little instrumental bridge at the end, but where it breaks down with drums, and then it just goes, and then it comes back and it finishes. And it's nice.
It's a short punk song, like they should be.
So
Yes.
Get in, get out.
Ever fall in love with someone? Ever fall in love with someone? Ever fall in love with someone you shouldn't fall in love with?
how about what are your feelings about the song specifically? Like listening to it again now.
Well, as a punk song, it's a pop gem.
As a pop song,
I mean, it's a punk gem, I guess.
yes.
No, I do like the song. I think it is, it's got that punk energy, but it's very much it's kind of like a boy meets girl type of song, which is like a classic pop song material.
Yeah.
And I guess what I would say, the thing about it is it's a good thing it's short because there's not a lot to it.
No.
Certainly lyrically, it's pretty repetitive. But again, it's a punk song. It's very catchy. So, and that's probably more the pop element of it. But it definitely sticks in my mind. It's a little bit of an earworm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, rapid fire pace, like Alan said, extremely catchy, very good, good earworm, catchy tune. I think one thing that we haven't talked about is the title of the song and how it might relate to, or the content of the song and how it might relate to us as young people or anyone in a relationship. So like, maybe you lived the lyrics before you heard the song, and I think that does a good job of reaching out and getting you. Anyone have anything to say about that?
Well, the lyric, sure, I'll say something.
Yeah, talk about someone you fell in love with that you shouldn't have.
So many times. No.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very very pertinent to a young man in college with his compilation vinyl. The thing I like, again, like Alan mentioned, it's a love song, but at the same time, it's a different kind of love song. It's about being sort of trapped in a relationship, or maybe it isn't a relationship, maybe trapped in an infatuation, but the lyrics say like, I don't want to cause a commotion that will make things worse, kind of thing. It's almost like I'm just not going to make waves. I really shouldn't be in this relationship, but I'm not going to rock the boat almost. There's this sort of feeling of like, I'm in it, I shouldn't be in it, but I am, and I'm going to be really careful not to ruin this, which, the real message should be, I should get out of this. So yeah, the lyrics, I mean, kind of a different take on the love song. It's like, I'll quote some now. You spurn my natural emotions. You make me feel like dirt, and I'm hurt. But if I start a commotion, I run the risk of losing you, and that's worse. Why is that worse? If it makes you feel like dirt. But again, as a young man, young person even, you get in relationships that, shouldn't have. Shouldn't have. He does give a little bit of a solution. He says, I can't see much of a future unless we find out what's to blame. What a shame, But then he says, and we won't be together much longer unless we realize that we are the same. So there's your, I guess, olive branch. Let's make it work. But anyway, as a whole, it is a, love stinks kind of thing. Or this.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the words of the inimitable Peter
Wolf of Jay Giles Band.
Peter Wolf of Jay Giles Band. Thank you. We hope you're enjoying this GenXplainers podcast. Please remember to find us and follow us on social media. And we'd much appreciate a 5-star rating on the podcast platform of your choice. Now, let's get back to the show. Why don't we vote on it? I brought it. I do think it is. I think it's a little gem. It's a little just thing that pops into your life once in a while on your playlist, and like, oh yeah, and then you move on with your day. I mean, what more do you want from the song? I guess. How about you, Al? What do you think about this song?
I like that it's short. I think I like that it's punchy and catchy. I like, like I said, it doesn't say a lot, but it says enough for a short pop song. I have to say, I've been like back and forth about it, back and forth and back and forth. And maybe because I didn't hear it as a teenager, it doesn't hit the same way. But right now I'm feeling kind of no.
I also think, let me just add this. Maybe this will change your mind. No.
Okay. All right.
I think the feel of it. I think the feel of it and the sound of it, while being similar to a lot of other punky pop stuff, I can hear a lot of like 90s, rock bands with the same kind of emotion, feel, and attitude. And so I think it was very influential. But like I said, a lot of other songs were influential too, obviously. But this one definitely has that pop sensibility around it too. So anyway. Fair enough. How about you, Rand? What do you think?
I think this is an extremely catchy song. We've touched on that. It's an earworm. It gets stuck with you, and there are definitely elements of it that I like. But I think also another thing we touched on, there's a reason that I've never gotten into the Buzzcocks, including this song. I think I did have like some compilation, maybe even the same one you had, Matt, at one point, and that has long been gone, and I haven't revisited it. And I don't actually like Pete Shelley's voice the way you do, and so I think I got enough negative aspects of it for me, Buzzcocks related, as enjoyable as this song can be. Sometimes when I hear it, it doesn't reach that perfect level for me. So I'm gonna say no.
Okay, I got to get Mike on the line. I got to get Mike back on here because I think he'd be on my side. No, that's fair. So, again, there's some personal things both ways. Yeah. Either negatively or positively towards the song, and that's totally appropriate. So
it's the perfect Buzzcocks song.
Yeah, it is. What Do I Get is another song that's very good. That was
what you're thinking right now is, have I ever started a podcast that I shouldn't have started a podcast?
Yeah, exactly.
or picked a perfect song or something like that. You know what I'm getting at.
I can tell you, yes, many times I've picked a song I shouldn't have picked.
I have.
I have.
Well,
We
have
all
there
have.
been-
We can all feel that.
Are there's? I mean, we talked about changing mine during a show. Are there ones now that you look back on, ones we've did where you voted yes and you said, "Oh, I think I was wrong on that," or the other way? Ever voted for a song that you should?
I voted no on "Happiness is a Warm Gun," and I have thought about that over the last couple of months and been like, maybe I could have flipped on that one.
Yeah, right.
You know,
there's a lot of ones,
but
that
at the moment I said no. Yeah,
and we've said at this moment, we've just qualified our answers before like that. Can you think of any now that?
I go back and forth. Sometimes I try to think. I think we've talked about this once before. I try to think of the song as objectively as possible, and like, is this objectively a perfect song? Like the structure and all the elements working together, but it's hard to separate out the personal experience.
Yep.
And so there's a song that I nominated as a perfect song, which was the Slater-Kinney Drama You've Been Craving, which is still like one of my all-time favorite Slater-Kinney songs. And I still think I can make an argument that it's perfect, but I kind of feel like I probably shouldn't have even have nominated it. Kind of hard for me to unpack that, but I
Yeah.
felt that during the podcast and after.
I think
Actually, even a little bit before.
I voted for it. I stick with that. I do think sometimes you get groups that you have a really close affinity with. You love them. They're one of your favorites. And there are many songs that you could maybe, but you have to, like you said, you have to look at is it just because I personally, like when I heard this song, it was 2007 or whatever. And boy, it really worked for me. So it's my favorite song by them, but that doesn't make it perfect for someone else, or even, people might not even appreciate it because they didn't have your life, your experiences, Again, that's what we do on the podcast. We talk about this. Anyway, that's it for this edition. Thanks, guys, for being on the panel.
Yep.
And
pleasure.
we'll see you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, and let us know what you think about this song, of course. Oh, and like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.